What was the biggest challenge that you faced since you had to decide, okay, either I stay with my girlfriend or I move forward and follow my vision? So you obviously you decided for the vision. You went abroad, you went to Cambodia, you're living in a developing country right now, and putting down the foundation for your social enterprise that you're aspiring to do, writing a book about leadership of women in Cambodia. So what was the major challenge that you faced on the way after you had made that jump, after you had decided to change or walk that path?
I would say actually the biggest challenge was getting myself to the point where I did that exercise.
Because so the exercise was really like a major key element.
Yeah, because
in that.
So I learned this exercise from a friend that I was running a startup with.
Yeah.
A couple of years before that, and then after a while, I realized I should do this for my life. But it took me a year to actually do it, and I think I know why, because I think deep down inside, I knew what the answers were going to be, and I wasn't ready for it yet.
You knew that it would push you out.
Right. I knew it was not going to sit with it. I knew deep inside that the life I had at that moment wasn't really what I wanted.
Yes.
But I wasn't ready to accept it.
Yeah.
So the biggest challenge, I would say, was getting myself to the point where I did that exercise.
Okay, so let me ask you, what helped you? What do you think helped you to actually sit down and do it? Did you have any kind of personal strengths that you used, habits or tools or anything else that you used?
Did you give yourself a timeline, or was it just a mental line, or you?
Yeah, I think one thing that played a role is that I went to a leadership course a couple weeks or months before I did that.
That kind of motivated you.
And I think that kind of reset me in a way.
Yeah.
Not consciously, but I think it subconsciously started to make me more aware of, hey, this is not working anymore.
Yeah.
I need to do something about this. And that caused me to say, okay, I'm going to do this exercise.
Yeah. So the question I like to ask is how do you like being taught, and finding mentors? How do you feel about that? What do you want to tell people about that? Because I found that's one of the most powerful things.
Yeah,
you need to find these people to teach you to move to the next step.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with finding
Right.
a mentor. A coach is what everyone needs.
I have a coach too. I'm a coach. I have a coach. I'm a business coach.
Absolutely.
And I have even a spiritual guide person.
Yeah. Because I just want to make sure we let people know that the idea of all of this is a story, but we want to show them how to step forward and take this control.
How do you make it happen?
And make sure everyone understands that we want to find a coach.
Because like you've been in Holland once, sitting there in that company and feeling, well, that's not really what I want. Yeah. But now you're sitting here in Bali, writing a book about female leadership in Cambodia, actually living in Cambodia, just visiting Bali, but still, like you've made that jump. You're starting to build a social enterprise. But it started in Holland. So how did you get here? So how did you? What did you use? Look, how did you find your coaches and mentors and?
Right. Yeah. So I was lucky to have that program in my company. But after that, obviously, it was me who decided who I wanted as a coach and what I wanted from her. Yeah. And I think the key insight that I've had from that process is that you got to ask yourself where your weaknesses are. Yep. And that's where you want to look for support. Yep. So for me, I knew that my weakness was accountability. Yep. I knew that I was able to go through that process of figuring out where I wanted to go without help. But I also knew that I wasn't going to do it without help. Yeah.
And it's okay to ask for help.
Yes.
So that's really clearly what I needed. Somebody to just tell me every 2 or 3 weeks, sit down and do what you really want to do.
Yeah, exactly. And shut up and do it.
Yeah,
right.
that's what I do.
And that's what I need. And this is different for everyone, right? Like some people need somebody to really pull out their insights from them.
Yes.
I knew that I didn't need that, but it's different for different people. So the thing that you got to ask yourself once you realize, hey, something needs to change, is to think about, for one thing, what's needed for that. Yeah. And for another is where your weaknesses are in that process. And then find somebody that you know will be able to support you in that. And this doesn't have to be a guru, right?
No.
In my case, it was just a coworker who didn't have a crazy CV or anything, Just somebody that
just
I
the
knew.
right person at the right point in time coming into your life and having the skills and understanding that you needed to move forward.
Yeah. And if that isn't the right person, move to the next person. If that's not the right person, move to the next person.
But I totally get you. Like I wanted to build an online business. I'm really not good with technical things.
She's not.
So and online hasn't been my thing, but I realized in order to be free, you know, like independent, geographically independent, because freedom is my biggest value. I need to put it online. So what did I do? I got a coach, an online business coach, and she's been amazing. She made it all happen thanks to her. I just went through it very quickly and very structuredly. German I am, and you understand what that's like.
Just Aussies the same, you know. We got that same structured thing.
Yeah, right. So that's basically what happened, and now I have an online business because I had a coach who coached me through it.
And now she's got a TV coach.
Yes. Now I have a coach, and I'm your coach too. So we're basically just sharing, coaching each other all the time. But in any case, I really love what you just shared here because I think it's very valuable for everyone else to hear. Do you, for people who are watching this, is this exercise you were talking about, I call it backtracking your life, but what do you call it again?
Backcasting.
Backcasting, like the 20-year exercise.
Yeah, so casting, so what happens is that instead of, and this is one other thing that I didn't mention before, is the power in this exercise is that you start with 20 years into the future, and then you turn around and look back, and that's the backcasting part. Because normally, when you're being asked where do you want to be in the future, where do you want to be in 5 years, where do you want to be in 10 years, you look from today. And you create a path. And the power in this is that when you do it the other way around, there's going to be a moment where usually it's in the step from 5 to 2 years where you realize, oh shit, something needs to change.
Yes, exactly.
And that doesn't happen if you go the other way.
Yes. And for me personally, because I had this huge vision, which I might share one day.
Oh, she's going to share it. Don't you worry.
Well, we'll see. We'll see, Brett. So I had this huge vision. But for me, what it really helped me with was seeing that there's so much time. So looking at it backwards, like, yes, I mean, that what I want to reach or build in this world, I mean, it is doable, and I have 20 years of time. And going backwards, it was very clear to me that right now I can just relax into who I am, because I'm already on the right path. It's all happening naturally. I just know that within a year's time, I need to kind of work a bit on that, and then I add another thing. But everything happens at its time, so I'm not stressed anymore.
Different people who do this exercise have very different insights. I've done it here actually in the Thrive Hive with. I've done it as a workshop for people, and everyone comes up with different insights.
Absolutely.
Everybody functions different.
So that classic question, if you went back 10 years, what would you tell yourself?
If I went back 10 years...
10 years, look at the camera and tell yourself, what would you tell yourself 10 years?
10 years.
And go, dude, just do this, or shut up, or get out of that job, or...
Like 10 years back or 10 years forth?
No, 10 back. To tell yourself,
so when I was 20.
When you
were 20.
Yeah, what would you tell you that you know now, that you go, oh God, I wish I'd done that then. Like, for me, I wish I'd read Rich Dad Poor Dad 20 years ago.
Oh yeah, I still have to read that book. I haven't read it yet.
So that's that kind of like, dude, just read that book, or just go to that mentor, or choose that.
What do you say to your old
go
self?
left instead of right on that street. All of that kind of stuff.
Keep that relationship. Don't
keep
go
that relationship. I really do love you. I'm sorry, I don't know what that came out.
Where did that come from, Brett?
I don't know.
Brett had a good night last night. Not with me. Yeah, not with me.
No.
Anyway,
back to you. What was it?
I find it really hard to answer that question.
That's cool.
And
There's no pressure.
But the reason why is that the way I look at it is that everything that's been happening over the past 10 years has led me to where I am right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't think I want to change any of that.
Nice.
So everything was like a step on the way to bring you towards where you are today.
I mean, it's really easy for me to say, like I said, right, it took me a year to accept that I had to get out of that situation. So maybe I could have told myself at the start of that year to do it, but I believe that it's right the way it went. The timing was right. Me getting into a job that was really challenging my concept of where I stood in the world, and going from being on top of the corporate world to all of a sudden being back into a student job. All of that played its really important role in where I am right now. So
Lessons.
If there's anything I could tell myself, is listen to your instincts more.
Instinct. I'm totally with you on that one.
That's something that I've been learning over the past years, and that would have possibly been useful over the past
instinct
10 years.
as an intuition.
Many times after you make a mistake, or something happens where you know that you could have done it differently, you realize after it happens, like, I knew.
That is so
stupid.
Anyway. That is so true.
And it's a knowing that is not even necessarily like something that you figure out, but it just, when somebody invites you to go somewhere and your very first feeling is no, and then you start thinking about it and you're like, there's all these reasons, and there's going to be this person or that person, and I want to keep my friend and all that. So the answer is yes, and then it sucks. And then afterwards you're like, I knew that.
Right? But you have to do it sometimes to get that done, to move through that stupid moment of realizing what you realize.
I think my life would have been better if I had listened more to that.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to do that moving forward for sure.
Nice. I totally agree with Menno on this one, because I ignored my intuition or my internal gut feeling for many years. Until I hit a point where I got so frustrated and I realized it's strangling me. I'm strangling myself with doing what I keep doing, because it makes sense. It's rationally correct, but it wasn't me. It wasn't in my gut. So this is when I had to stop. And ever since, I really follow my intuition so much more. And ever since, my life is pretty awesome.
Absolutely, and that's how we ended up doing this. We were looking
for
a new change.
Hello from Rethink TV.
Hello,
Menno from the blog.
All right,
Jenny from the blog.
Jenny from the blog, and Brett from wherever the hell I'm from.
Where are you from?
I'm from here right now.
Yeah, me too. We're just here. We are here now. That's all that counts.
Here and now. I know that sounds all very hippie hoo-ha,
but
it's true.
We're in Bali, Ubud.
Exactly.
I always piss off the tuk-tuk drivers in Phnom Penh in Cambodia when they ask, where are you from? And of course, tourists, it's kind of funny, but when you live there for a year and a half, it gets kind of tiring.
Annoying,
And so I always say I'm from here, and then they're like, oh, that's funny, me too.
I like that. All right, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you, Menno.
Absolutely.
Champion. Yes, and good luck with the social enterprise. I want to keep updated. And if you want to learn more about him, we're just blending in his contact details here. Feel free to get in touch with him. If you have any questions, if you want to cooperate, if you like what he does, just talk to him in person. He's up for it, right?
This is all about co-working.
You can include a link to the blog post that I wrote, which is called Blueprint for Making Life-Changing Decisions.
Oh, beautiful.
Which is where I talk about a lot of this, and I include the backcasting exercise.
Nice.
So if you want to look back at that,
thank you very much.
Look that up.
Yeah.
It's on my blog.
Because that's what I forgot to ask, where can we find that exercise on your blog?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it from us, from Rethink TV. And we see you soon again, that's for sure.
Rethink
everything.
Yeah.
All right, bye. Bye from